Hello, folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep Podcast, episode 42. My name is Ruth, and I will be your host for the next half hour or so. And if you are returning to my podcast, welcome back. And if you are a new subscriber or a new listener, viewer, I welcome you to my podcast. Very warm welcome. My podcast is about what I get up to with fiber, mostly crocheting, knitting, spinning of fiber, and also growing my own fiber. We have a small sheep farm here in Vermont. So yeah, I welcome if there's anything that kind of speaks to you here on the podcast. I welcome you and welcome you to subscribe and also like and all that other YouTube stuff that helps the channel along. So for those of you who don't know, I come to you every 2 weeks from my little home in Vermont. This past couple days we've had probably the biggest snowstorm we've had this winter thus far. It has stayed pretty cold, which is a good thing. Although this past storm, this most recent one, came with a little bit of freezing rain and sleet. And it's kind of an upper atmosphere thing, I'm told. The air could be cold enough down here, but if it's warm up above, then all the stuff comes down as ice or sleet, depending on how that works, the timing and that sort of thing. So yeah, we've been kind of in the process, or my husband has been in the process of moving snow so that we can get in and out of our little farm here. So I'm gonna jump in and kind of, I'll tell you what I'm wearing first. This is a modified garment. I made this out of a book called Top Down, Reimagining Set-In Sleeve Design by Elizabeth Doherty. You may recognize her. She's a pretty well-known knitting designer. And she came out with a book a while ago. I'm trying to think when this one was published. 2015. So this vest is probably that old as well. 9 or 10 years old. So anyway, this is the book, Top Down, and I really like this book a lot because it really walks you through all of the couture shaping involved in making a top-down sweater, set-in sleeves, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I did not put sleeves on this, but let me just stand up a minute and show you that this is a cable that starts at the center back neckline here, and then carries its way down in front. And then you also have some really nice arm shaping here. If you weren't going to make the vest, she walks you through how to do sleeves, short row sleeves, right onto the garment. So there's really no sewing involved with her garments. But let me show you the full sweater here. This is called the Copperplate. And all of the designs in this book were done with Quince & Co. yarn. So there's that sweater. And, of course, you can elect to do any kind of closure on it. I think this would lend itself well to kind of like a shawl pin. I like to wear mine open because I have, it's a vest, so it's kind of easy on, easy off for me. Let me see. I just want to, which Quince & Co. did they use? Chickadee, which is their, I think that Chickadee is probably their DK. I want to say their DK weight. It's a nice plump DK. But there are others in here that use their other yarns, but you can use any yarn you want, of course. It's all up to the individual knitter. That's a beautiful one that's done in a lighter weight yarn. Got a beautiful cable up the front. That's the one on the, I believe that's the one on the front. Yeah. Yeah. The buttons just look different to me in the pictures. So, but yeah, so that's top down. If you're really into top down garments like I am, try on as you go, and like a well-fitted, fitted sleeve, cap sleeve. This is the book for you. She walks you right through every single step, and it's been great. I did mine in Harrisville Flywheel, which is their sport weight yarn. I'm trying to remember the name of this color. I'll put it on the screen if I can figure out what it was. Like I said, I made this quite a while ago, and so they do still have this color, I know, because I've seen it in the store. So that's what I'm wearing. And I usually start off with crochet. So I'll start off with crochet today. I wanted to update you on my progress for the sweater I've been making. It's called the Kiera Zip by Courtney Clark. And this kind of lives in this lovely bag. I forget where I got this bag actually, but it's the best bag for projects. This is the Kiera Quarter Zip. And this is done in a DK weight yarn. I chose Barocco Vintage DK in this lovely green, heathery type color. And I went down a hook size. She calls for an F hook, which is a 3.75. I'm doing mine in an E hook, which is a 3.5. And this is the last of this current skein that I'm working on, and then this is the last skein I have, but the sleeves are done. So this is so exciting to me. Let me just show you. So here it is. Here's the one sleeve. Boop. Ends are not woven in yet. And then the other sleeve, of course, the same deal. I stopped a few rows short because I think my arms are shorter than most patterns allow for. So I think I went on about that in my last podcast about how I really don't like big sleeves or things that kind of flop around. So here's the opening, and all I have left to crochet is the collar, the actual kind of, it's almost like a turtleneck, but it's a turn down collar because it has a zipper. Yeah, and so it has this lovely textured alpine stitch on the bodice, and then the rest of it is half double crochet. And it's got a nice, it's got enough positive ease to it, but not overly positive ease. And we all know how I feel about too much positive ease. So I went shopping this week because even though I didn't, at that point I hadn't had the sleeves done, but I had heard that Joann Fabrics is going out of business. I kind of knew they had declared bankruptcy several months ago, and now there's a second bankruptcy that's been declared, and so I don't really know what that means legal-wise, but when I walked into my Joann's store, unfortunately, the place looks like a real tip. There's boxes all over the place. I had to move a box to get to what I needed. And then I was so happy that I was there when I got there, because I was just assuming, they'll be open for a couple more hours. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock they made or right before 2 o'clock they made an announcement. You know, old shoppers, please bring your things you're going to buy to the register, and we're closing at 2. And I overheard one of the attendants say to a customer that they just don't have the manpower right now to stay open beyond 2 o'clock on a Friday. So that didn't sound particularly good to me. I use Joann's for a number of things. I mean, it's my go-to store for a lot of crafting type things, like if I need a pipe cleaner for something, or if I need polyester stuffing for a little animal I'm creating. So and I think this is probably a feeling that most crafters have. It's a real loss when you lose a store like that. So I'm kind of sad about that. I did buy 2 zippers. I took my swatch in to Joann's that day because I wanted to buy the 9-inch zipper that goes, that's required for my size. And I ended up getting 2 different kinds. This is green linen, and this one's olive. I really couldn't decide between the 2 colors, so once I have them out of the package, I'll probably put them up against the garment and decide then. Usually I'm better at this kind of color matching thing, but like I said, I had about 5 minutes to pick out a zipper, so I said, let me just get 2 of them. I can always use the other one for another project. So yeah, and I did get somebody replying that they would be interested in kind of a demo of how I sew a zipper in to a garment, especially one that's been hand crocheted or hand knitted. So yeah, I am going to work on that. As soon as I have this collar done, I'll try to set up my videos so that I can make kind of it won't be a tutorial because, you know, there's a number of ways you can do this, and mine isn't to say so, but it's just kind of what I do. And so and I always like YouTube because it gives you that option of looking at a number of ways to do the same thing. So yeah, I'm listing it more as a demo than an actual tutorial. But yeah, that'll go up separately from my other podcast. So stay tuned for that. As soon as I get my act together with that, but that's coming along really nicely. And like I said, the collar shouldn't take me all that long. It's going back to that textured stitch. That's really enjoyable and it goes quickly. So that is the Kiera Zip. I didn't mention it was by Courtney Clark of @Tinderbox. She has a lot of different patterns out. Go check her out. She writes a really nice pattern. All right, and last time I had asked you guys for an opinion about yarn for a design that I got from Linda Scuya. And I showed you Linda's book the last time. This is a single pattern, one of her new ones. This is called the Sivu Tee. And I like this idea as a layering piece. So I'm going to probably stick along those lines, make it a little bit bigger so I have a little bit more positive ease so I can wear something underneath it, a t-shirt. But I had asked you if you thought, because at the time I was really stuck between these 2 yarns by Hope Made Fiber Co., who's in New Jersey. She has a beautiful yarn line. This is her Hope's favorite, which is 80% extra fine superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% recycled nylon. So this is one of her 4-ply fingering weights, 437 yards to 100 grams. So this color right here is called Phantasm, which is a beautiful medium gray color with speckles in it. And then this one is called Possum, and it's done on a it looks to me like a white base, but has some gray and pink in it, and it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous yarn. And between all the comments and my own feelings, I decided to go with the Phantasm. Or no, not the Phantasm, the Possum. Possum, I'm getting them all mixed up. So I balled this up, wound it up into a ball, and I have swatched for this. So I want to show you my little swatch board here. These swatches are still kind of wet, but I think I can already say, like, I started with higher hook size, thinking, okay, I have a fingering weight yarn. She's used a sport weight yarn, so hers is a little heavier. I thought I'd probably have to go up, but it turns out I had to go down a size from her stated size. So stated size in the pattern was an H hook or a 5mm hook. That's this swatch down here. And you can see that the length of it is going beyond 4 inches, which is this hole right here. So it does hang down a bit. This one up here was one size up, which is it's an I hook. I put J here, but it's an I hook. 5.5mm. Like I said, this is the first swatch I made. This one's huge. This one, I scrunched it up a little bit, but if it was down to here, and I'm holding it up right now too, so it's gonna kind of sag a little bit. This one over here is done with a 7 hook or 4.5mm hook. So it's that strange size between a G hook and an H hook. There's one size in between, and they call it a 7. But in metric, it's 4.5mm. And this one, I think, is giving the right vibe in terms of, as you can see in her photo, she's got a little bit of, it's almost lacy-like, you know. It's a loose kind of fabric that she has there. And I was afraid of it being too big, so it does block out nicely here for the 4x4 square. So that's the one I'm going with, this one over here with all the pegs in it. And I kind of like that size hook anyway. It's one of my favorites. Feels good in the hand, and you know, when you're actually crocheting with a fingering weight, it's probably the highest size I would go with anyway, comfortably, with a fingering weight yarn. So yeah, pretty swatches. I love this. I love the magic of swatching. I know a lot of people are, and there are times when I feel like, oh, I just don't want to swatch. But you know, it's nice to see how the yarn is going to turn out. And a swatch kind of gives you an idea of how that will happen. So yeah, so there you go. Those are my swatches for the Sivu Tee by Linda Scuia. So I invite you to check her out. And for those of you who had favored the Phantasm, I just want to say I have plans for that, as I always do. And the plans may change. You never know. But what I'm planning to do with Hope's favorite in the Phantasm is I am going to pair it with this lovely mohair that I purchased. And I got this from the Woolly Thistle. This is a rather new acquisition for them as well. They just got this in not too long ago. It's 70% kid mohair and 30% silk. And it's a lace weight. And I'm going to hold it together, the two together, to make the Sabatini cardigan by Sandra Gutierrez. She has this in 2 lengths. This is the longer length, and I am planning on making the shorter length. And I'm also going to leave the sleeves off and make a vest. Because I can, and that is my thing, is to make a beautiful vest in this combo. So here is kind of the shorter length on the cardigan, and it has these little pockets, which are just cute, wonderful. I love a pocket. So those are my plans for this beautiful yarn. And I will let you know how I get on with that. I'm going to, after I get the Kiera Quarter Zip done, I will be moving on to the Sivu Tee, and then the Sabatini vest, I'm calling it. Yeah, I think after all of the sweater knitting I've been doing, I'm kind of more now into a vest. You know, I want to make something that's a layer, but I don't want to do the sleeves. So kind of burned myself out on sleeves. Anywho, so that's a future project, so stay tuned for that. And I think that's all for crochet. I'm gonna move into knitting now. When last we spoke, I was telling you my woes about, speaking of sleeves and sweaters, I was letting you know about my woes with my halftone pullover. And I did, right after my last episode, I did frog back the sleeve. Before I get too ahead of myself, I will just tell those of you who are new here, this is the Halftone Pullover by Kim of Indigo Knits. That's her halftone. She did this in J&S, so I did mine in J&S because I've not ever done a pullover in J&S. And my colors are 203. This is the cone, and then this is FC37. Returning viewers will be getting sick and tired of this thing. Anyway, I'm happy to report, even though I'm only halfway in progress of redoing this one sleeve and writing down what I'm doing on the way so I can do it on the other side. I have started to aggressively decrease, so it's going to look kind of funny here, and it's also on the needles, so you're going to see it pulling quite a bit. But yeah, so this is a top-down sweater, top-down raglan with that bit of color work in between, transitioning over to another color. This is a very sweatshirt type fit, lots of room, lots of positive ease. And if you were with me last time, this sleeve was gargantuan. It was huge. And I just don't like that much positive ease. So I'm gonna, I tore it back. You know, I tore is such a bad word. I frogged it back to here, which is like the end of, yeah, it was the end of the color work, top down here. And I started to change the rate of decrease on the sleeves. So I'm decreasing a lot faster. I'm going to get to a total length on sleeves about 16.5 inches, which is what the pattern calls for. So that's allowing for some ease vertically wise too. I mean, you don't want a sleeve that hitches up on you too much. So yeah, so I'm re-knitting the sleeve and kind of writing down everything as I go along. Good. So I told you the designer. She has other designs out as well. A lot. She likes color work, so I believe she has a couple of newer designs that have all over color work in the yoke. So yeah, so that's my halftone. I'm still plugging away at it. Still want to get it done, hopefully, before it gets warm, so I can wear it at least once this season. So, but yeah, it's a fingering weight sweater, so the yarn takes a while to knit up, and but I find the fingering weight yarn really does make a nice layering piece. So I just wanted to show you these things. I got these also. I wanted to try them out as I get further down in the decreases and the small circumference. This is Chalgoose Twist. So they sell these in all sizes, one size per bag. And so I bought an size 4 because that's the size needle I'm making the halftone in. And they provide you with both a 2-inch cable and a 3-inch cable, and then 2-inch needles and 3-inch needles. So you can get a variety of sizes, and they give you a little chart on the back on what combos give you what sizes. So I haven't used these yet. So the jury's still out. I'm not sure I'm going to like the lack of real estate. Whoops. The lack of real estate when it comes to the needles. I feel like I'm going to be, I don't know. It feels like toothpicks to me. So if you had some experience with these needles, leave me a comment. Like I said, I'm still, the jury's still out because I haven't used them yet, but I know I'm going to get to a point on this sleeve where I'm going to have to use something smaller than a 16-inch round circular. Round circular, that's kind of redundant. 16-inch circular. So yeah, so anyway, they come in all sizes, and you can also buy a whole kit full of certain sizes they have. And I have the ones that are smaller than the 4s. I have like the 0 to 3 sizes with the cables. And I think I did use them in one project, but it was for a very short length of time. So it didn't feel like I got enough experience with it. I'm just wondering if they're really fiddly, like if people find them very fiddly. So I know they're supposed to make your life a lot easier so you don't have to do magic loop. But I don't have a problem with magic loop. So that may be, you know, something that I just experiment with and see what I like better. But anyway, that was a product, not necessarily a product endorsement, but, you know, something to, you know, chew over. All right, so that was the halftone, and then I want to show you my progress on Nordic Nights. This is a design by Jen Steingass. This is her Nordic Nights. Beautiful top-down raglan, once again, color in the yoke and then in the sleeves. And I was able to cast the body off, which makes me so happy. And I am doing mine in this mustardy kind of color. Is from Main Yarn and Fiber Supply. This is a fingering weight yarn in their Sacco base, and colorway is Dutch Mood, and the green is hand spun. Let me see if I got this. Yeah, this is the front. I am just loving this, and I love the tonal aspect of the regular yarn, the yarn I got from the main company, and I am on sleeves. Yay! Yeah, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do these. I'll probably start off with a 16-inch circular needle and go from there. The color work on the sleeves, she asks you to go up a size from your gauge needle. My gauge needle for this was a number 5, so I'll be doing this part on a number 6 needle. This is my hand spun for this project. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. Something happened. It exploded in my bag. Yeah, so this was a really fun spin, and I actually got this done this time last year. I had plied it up, and I bought this yarn at Spa Weekend, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Yeah, and this is from 2 different braids of top. I think it was, let me see. Yeah, Rambouillet top from Dirty Girl Yarns and Fiber in Vermont. So yeah, she has great color sense. I like her a lot. So yeah, there is my Nordic Nights, which I'm just loving. Both of these pullovers, I can't wait to throw in some water because I think this color work is gonna just bloom. And obviously, since I'm using cone yarn on the other one, the spinning oils will work their way out and the yarn will fluff up. So they're going to be looking a lot different in the coming weeks. Okay, so that is Nordic Nights, and I recommend Jen's patterns, very clearly written. She obviously is very successful with her patterns. She has so many of them, and they're all gorgeous. They're all gorgeous, so check her out. Yeah, and of course I'm looking to a future project in knitting, and sticking on the vest theme. I managed to swatch, I had this yarn kicking around for a while. This is Briggs & Little Heritage, and this is a, it's a worsted weight. This color is called Mauve, and I have the needle stuck in. I estimated on this yarn, since it's a very plump worsted weight. And I always have to go down a needle size, so I just started with a smaller size than what the pattern I'm looking at calls for. And that pattern is the Brookdale Vest by Elizabeth Smith. Another one of my favorite designers. This is a nice open cardigan. I don't know if you can see the bands, the textured bands on the front. It's A-line, so there's some nice shaping for us hourglass-shaped people. Anyway, I did my swatch on number 7 needles. This has been dried for quite a while, and here it is. It's really got a nice, beautiful drape to it, and yeah, it came out really nice, right to gauge, and can't wait to cast on that. So I've kind of kept all this stuff together, the needle, the swatch, and the ball of yarn together, because that'll be the next thing I cast on. I love an Elizabeth Smith pattern, and she also, she has, I think right now she has a kind of online class going on for one of her cardigans. I think it's the Ramona cardigan. She has a Ramona sweater and a Ramona cardigan now. And if her teaching style is anything like the way she writes patterns, I'm sure it's a hit. And people can glean a lot of knowledge from Elizabeth, because she knows what she's doing. So yeah, so future endeavors. Looking ahead to spring, when we don't need really all the triple layers like we do right now. And so that's it for the fibery stuff. I just want to talk briefly about where I'll be going, not this coming weekend, but next weekend. It's a little fibery getaway weekend, loosely organized. A whole bunch of us in the New England area and from other surrounding states as well. I'm not sure how far-flung people come to this. It's a weekend in Maine, in Freeport, Maine. It's called SPA, and I don't know what SPA, I've never known what SPA stands for. I mean, I don't think anybody does. But anyway, I think it just rose out of a discussion about having a spa weekend for fibery people, and it's stuck. Not that anybody's sitting in a spa knitting, because that doesn't happen. But anyway, so not this coming week, but next weekend in Freeport, Maine. And they have 3 different hotels there, but the main event happens at the Hilton. That's where all of the vendors are. There's a ballroom filled with about 20 vendors, I want to say, all kind of with lovely stuff to sell us. They start selling Friday night, and I think around 5 p.m., 5 to 8. And then on the weekend, Saturday, they're there all day, and then Sunday just in the morning. So SPA doesn't start technically until 5 p.m. I forget what year this is that I'm going. It must be 6 or 7. And usually get a room at the Hilton because everything is there. We have good food. People wait on you hand and foot, and I love it. And they have a big room called the Townhouse, which is right next to, I think it's the town meeting room. Yeah, town meeting room or townhouse, right next door to the Hilton. And that's where, it's a big room where they hold events. The hotel holds events there, but we take over that room. And we usually, a lot of spinners are in there. We have people who come with sock machines, people who weave, people who knit and crochet, anything, fibery, you could even cross stitch if you want. There are open tables in the town hall. I know they leave a table open where you can donate fibery type stuff that maybe somebody else has a better home for. There's a huge free table near the vendor area where there's more stuff there that you can look at. Just sometimes people, they're destashing, or they just want to haul out too many needles, too many hooks or whatever, and they bring their stuff there. And let me tell you, it goes. It's not like it sits there and languishes. And that event has really helped me try to haul out some stuff once a year. And it's good stuff. It's just that I'm not using it, and somebody else can find a use for it. So it's a great event. Usually it fills up pretty quickly, but in the past couple of years, I think because of COVID, people have been a little gun shy to get together and that sort of thing. So it hasn't, like, the reservations haven't always sold out like they used to in the past. But it's a fun group. We sit around, talk, try to solve the problems of the world as best we can. So that'll be something I'll be going to. I'll take some footage and I'll share it with you here. So until the next time, which will be after spa weekend, take care of yourselves, keep crafting, and I will see you soon.